I've got a problem. Hello, and I'm Tilly, and welcome back to my channel, Simple Living Suffolk, where I talk about books. Apparently that's become my way of starting these videos. I feel like you're not quite at the right height. Timber! Ah! Oh God, it landed on my hand. Right. I have too many books that I own that I haven't read. So, shall we go through them all? Maybe do an unhaul. Maybe do a, and help me pick my 25 and 25. I think my plan for 2025 is to, I'm going to have to split this in 2 stacks, is to read my TBR. No, to read the physical books I own, not to buy more books. I'm going to have a book buying ban. That's my point. Look how blank my shelves look. I need a book buying ban. I've bought too many books and I haven't read enough of them. And it's overwhelming. So let's talk through them. They're in vague piles, actually. Do we think they're in piles? Probably. So I'm really hot and sweaty, and this is probably the worst idea for a video, because now I've got to try and put them all back and they're going to be in the wrong order. Gosh, right, let's start with general literature / literary fiction. Okay, we've got The Story Collector, which I bought recently. I want to keep it, but it's not going to be my 25 and 25. Fragments of Youth by Richard Williams. There's actually someone I know who wrote this book. And I keep saying I'm going to read it, and I haven't. Let's put it in my 25 for 25 for now, and let's see how we feel. Not Working by Lisa Owens. I got this from a charity shop. Well, this is kind of about someone not knowing what to do with their life, so I love that kind of thing. I'm going to keep that. Glass Houses. Doesn't know what to do with their life. I'm going to keep that. I like the sound of it, but I'm not going to read it this year because I don't have time. If I have time, it's not going to be my... Okay, let's try again. It's not going to be my 25 for 25 books to read in 2025, but hopefully I'll read more than 25. Fingersmith, my friend got me this. I'm going to keep it, but I haven't read it yet. The Future Popes of Ireland. I got this in like a book. What is it? A blind date with a book? I don't think I'm going to read it. So that's going to go in my unhaul pile. I have to try and keep them separate for my 2025. The Kids, I think this is what my sister gave me. No. Unhaul. The Midnight Library. You know what? I've had a lot of good things about Matt Haig. However, I read Reasons to Stay Alive and I just didn't rate it. So I think I'm going to unhaul this because I just don't really want to read it. I'm at the point where if I think I actually want to read it, even if it won't be anytime soon, I'm keeping it. But if I've had it for years and I just haven't read it because I don't want to, let's get rid. The Vintage Teacup. Keep that. I've just bought that. Girl in Pieces. I really want to read this. The Museum of Ordinary People. I want to read that. Miss Webster and Sheriff, Patricia Duncat. So this is another one that was blind date with the book. I'm going to unhaul that. I'm not interested in it. I know that's bad, but I'm not. The Librarianist. What is this about? Bob Comet is a retired librarian passing his solitary days surrounded by books in a mint-coloured house in Portland, Oregon. Okay, it's a book about books. Obviously, I love that. I'm keeping that. Careering by Daisy Buchanan. I've heard of that. I'll keep that. 100 Names by Cecilia Ahern. I do actually really enjoy Cecilia Ahern, so I'm going to keep that. That's what I got from my mum. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. As you know, I want to read this. I've been talking about that recently. Okay. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This has been everywhere, hasn't it? A few years ago, and I still want to read it. Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Oh my God, sorry if I said that really badly. And also Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. I've read the first one, I haven't read the second two, but I keep them. So these are all ones I'm keeping, but they're not going to be on my immediate... Actually, this is going to go on my 2025 list. Okay, Orbital. I've just bought this. This is going on my 2025 list. The problem I find is often I want to read the books that I've just bought, more so than ones I've had for ages, so that they get read first. As always, I shouldn't start videos with a coffee. The Vanishing Half, again, I'm going to keep it. Not going to go on my list. Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. This has been everywhere. And my friend literally bought it for me Saturday when we went out for my birthday book trip. And this is going on my 2025 to read. Okay. Lily King Writers and Others. I've heard of this. So we're on to... Oh, okay. So that was all the general fiction. No, there's some more. There's some more literary, sorry. Okay. The Salt Path. This is going on to my 2025 and 25. I'm going to buddy read this with my friend. Blue Ticket. This is also going on. I think this is a pile that I actually took from what I had thought about would be my 2025. So Blue Ticket. I love Sophie McIntosh's books. I've read The Water Cure and Cursed Bread and I love them both. So this is going in my 25 book. Tender is the Flesh. Again, this is a new one. Augustina Bazterrica. And, well, a new one to me, sorry. And I want to read this. If We Were Villains. This is going on my 2025 book list. The Virgin Suicide, 2025. Western Lane, 2025. Carrie Soto is Back, 2025. Eliza Clark Penance. This is actually one that we are talking about doing a buddy read for my Discord group. So I'm going to put that in my 2025 part as well. So yeah, I had sorted some out, but I thought I would read in 2025, which is why some are in a row. So then Amazing Grace Adams, and that's also 2025. A lot of these you've probably heard of. Okay, now we go on to romance, I think. Lily King, Writers and Lovers. I'm going to keep it, but I'm not going to put it in my 2025 list. Verity by Colleen Hoover. So my best friend told me this was her favourite Colleen Hoover, and I still haven't read any Colleen Hoover, so I feel like I should. However, it's not going to go on my immediate list. Christmas at the Borrow Bookshop. That's not going to go on my 2025 list. I kind of want them to be like books that I am desperate to read. So Summer at the Chateau by Jennifer Bonnet. Again, that's going to go on my pile, but it's probably something I'd read like in the summer if I wanted to. Like a Charm, Christmas Book Club, and Sophie Kinsella's The Burnout. So all of these I'm going to keep, but I am not going to put in my 2025 list. Hex Education, I'll keep that. Rachel's Holiday by Marianne Keyes. I've actually read Grown Ups by Marianne Keyes and I really enjoyed it, so I do want to get to this. It's quite long. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Again, I'd like to read it just because everyone talks about it. I'm kind of interested in reading it because of that, but not urgently. Okay, Unladylike Rules of Attraction and Unladylike Lessons in Love. These are books that I got. They're by Anita Murray, and I got them when I went to Prima Donna, which is a literary festival which they run each year in my hometown in Suffolk. And the author did a panel there, and then I bought the books, and they're basically kind of like Bridgerton Regency romances, but with people of colour as the main characters. So although Bridgerton does that in the Netflix series, obviously that's not the key point in the actual books, which I've also read. They're on my shelf if you can see them. So I'm going to keep those, but I probably will get to them next year, I reckon, but I'm not going to put them in my 2025 list because I think that's more literary, I suppose. The Switch and also The Wake Up Call, both by Beth O'Leary. I'd like to read those. Sarah Pascoe Weirdo. Is this one we're going to buddy read? I don't think so. Cat Lady by Dawn Porter. I saw someone that I follow on Storygraph gave this quite a scathing review. I think like maybe 1.5, 2 stars. Which kind of put me off, but I've actually always really loved Dawn Porter books just for like, just silly fun. So, put that there. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, that's one I still haven't read of Taylor Jenkins Reid, but we've already got Carrie Soto Is Back, so I won't put that in my 2025 list. Cemetery Boys and Christmas at the Cat Cafe. I'm really not doing well at getting rid of books so far, am I? I've got 4 in my to get rid of pile and like loads in my to keep pile. Okay, should we move on to classics? Half of them are over there because I can drop them over. So Kazuo Ishiguro's The Remains of the Day. I'll keep that. I want to read that. Wicked. I definitely want to read this, and actually I think this is going to go in my 2025 list. I've heard it's really good, and it's quite it's very much an adult book. It's not for children, and I'd be really interested to read it because I keep seeing like fan theories and stuff about the new movie. which I've seen at the cinema, but I haven't actually read the book. Deborah Levy, The Cost of Living. I'll keep it. I'm not reading it this year though. Alice Walker, The Colour Purple. The Picture of Dorian Gray. Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse. Okay. Poems that only... So that's all the classics. Oh wait, that's not all of the classics. Little Women, Louisa May Alcott. Maurice by Ian Forster. So this is actually one we might read as part of my book club. But I'm not going to put it in my 2025 pile because I don't know if it's going to get picked. And then we've got Ratcliffe Hall's The Well of Loneliness. Again, this could be a book club one, so I might read it next year depending on if it gets picked. Oh, and then we have some proper, so Jane Austen's Emma, Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey, and then Mansfield Park. None of these I've read yet. And then also Bram Stoker's Dracula. So I have read Pride and Prejudice if you're thinking that's missing, and I don't own Sense and Sensibility. But I'll get to them at some point. I also would like to read Wuthering Heights, but I don't own that. So these are things I'm kind of keeping my eyes out for if I see them in charity shops. Dracula, I think I'm going to put in the pile because I think that'd be quite a good Halloween-y read next year. Okay, and then we have, oh my God, Alexander Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo. Right, I've heard this is really good. I'm concerned though with the size. I think I might put it in my 2025 list, and it's just going to be like, let's see if we get there. Okay, that's actually all the classics, I think. Okay, poetry. Should we do poetry? I've actually got poetry here, but then also I had another poetry. Oh, it's there. Poetry's there. Okay, so we've got Holly McNish Plum. I would like to read that in 2025. I bought it recently. I went to see. Was it in 2024? I went to see her show. I think it might have been. It could have been last year. Then there is Poems That Only a Mother Could Love. Now this is a small little poetry novella, I suppose. Poetry collection by Sarah Jacobs, who is my cousin. So actually I'm going to keep it. I'm not putting it in my 2025 pile because I think I might read it today or this week. So let's put this in let's start a immediate pile. Let's put that there. Okay. Then we've got John Keats selected poetry. That's not going in the pile, but I'll keep it. Actually, will I read this? You know what? I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to. There, I said it. I'm getting rid of Keats. I just think it's, I love poetry, but I like kind of modern poetry where I know what the heck they're talking about. Ooh, okay. And then we have another Holly McNish, which I haven't read yet, but I will keep because I want to read it. So that can go there. I'm trying to keep these in piles so that when I put them back on the bookshelf, it's not too bad, but I don't think I'm doing well at that. Okay, then we have these three Rachel Churcher books, which are The Darkest Hour, False Flag and Battleground. I've read them the wrong way around. They're all children's, like, dystopia. Teen/young adult. So I actually think they're quite good for my daughter. So we'll keep these. They can go over there. Okay. Then there's Threading the Labyrinth. Okay, so the Rachel Churcher and also this Tiffany Angus book, I actually met the authors at they had a stall at a fair, like a market I went to in Bury St Edmunds a couple of years ago, so I bought their books. And the same with Erinsmore by Julia Blake. So I'm going to keep all of these books, so I like to support local indie authors, so I'll keep those. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarifi. Right, this one I got because it was like buy one, get one half price. So I picked this one up in Waterstones, and the person serving me really convinced me to read it because apparently it's like a woman who's got a child who used to be like a pirate and has given that life up and is looking after the kids, but then she has to go back and do one more thing, like one more job. And so she has to like find childcare and stuff. And I just thought that was very relatable. So I'm going to put that on my 2025 list because I would like to read that. The Infinite Noise. This is one my sister gave me. It's like a children-y book. A teen paperback. Okay, I'll keep it because maybe it'll be good for my daughter. I'll put it in the children's pile. Then we've got The Honey Witch. I would like to read this. I'm keeping it. I'm not reading it this year though. The London Seance Society. Sarah J. Maas' House of Earth and Blood. And also Sarah J. Maas' House of Sky and Breath both of Crescent City. I might read them next year. My plan is to have them as like a reward for finishing my degree. But I'm not going to put them in the 2025 list. Right, The Shadow Cabinet. I've read the first one of this series, so I would like to read this. Maybe I'll put it in if I've got space. Salt Blood. I've heard this is very good, and it's like pirates, but like gay pirates. Is it gay pirates? She'll become a pirate. Well, it's a woman pirate. Is it a gay pirate? Is it just a woman pirate? Either way, I'm into it. You know what? That's going to go in my pile for this year. The Gilda Stories, I'll keep that, but I'm not going to put it in this year's pile. Bookshops and Bone Dust, absolutely going in the 2025 pile. This is a very cosy fantasy, the first one. So if the second one's anything like it, I would love to read it. Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. I've actually had this book for years. It's about witches, and I like witches. Let's put this in my 2025 pile, which is getting bigger and bigger as the days go by. Northwards by Daniel Mason. This was going to be a book club book, but then we never ended up having the book club. But I'd like to keep it in the pile, I think. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yaros. I've heard everything about this, so I've heard so much about this. It's going to go in my 2025 pile, I think. Okay. Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I would like to read this. So we're on to the LGBT. Did I tell you I was on fantasy? Well, that was fantasy. Now we're getting on to LGBT non-fiction and fiction, I think. So I'd like to read this. I'm keeping it. I'm not reading it this year. Traitor to the Masculine Cause, the men's campaign for women's rights. I actually got this again on Saturday from a charity shop. It looks really cool. I'd like to read it. It'll go on my shelf. Working Class Queers. Definitely want to read that. That's going in my 2025 pile. My Child, the Algorithm. This is another one that was from Prima Donna, but not from 2024, from 2023. I went to a talk and bought that book. Suffolk Pride, we are the 1 in 5. You know what, I actually think that's going to go in my 2025 pile because that would be good for my dissertation. I Love Dick by Chris Kraus. I think I saw this book on a like 100 books you should read before you die thing. And so I bought it years ago, still haven't read it. I'll keep it, haven't read it yet. Sarah Waters' Tipping the Velvet, another one my friend got for me. So I'll keep that, but not on my list. Breaking the Rainbow Ceiling, How LGBT People Can Thrive and Succeed at Work by Layla McKay. That's another one from Prima Donna from 2024. The Queer Pair and Everything You Need to Know from Gay to Z. That's another one from Prima Donna 2023. Queer, A Graphic History. Okay, this I would love to read. It's just like a fun, easy book. I love these graphic history books. And I think I'm going to put that in my this year pile, media pile. The Polity Reader in Gender Studies, that's just useful for uni. I haven't read it, but I think it's more of a reference text really that I would read rather than read it front to cut back. Material Girls, Why Reality Matters for Feminism. Julia Shaw by The Hidden Culture, History and Science of Bisexuality. Again, probably a good book for uni. And A History of Bisexuality, Stephen Angeli. This is definitely a reference book. I'm not going to read this from cover to cover, but I shall keep it. Okay, we're getting there. Non-fiction. Okay, Half-Assed Human, How to Live Better Without Burning Out by Lena Norms. I'm going to read that, and I think that's going to be right at the start of my year because I think that's going to be a good one. Lena Norms is like an OG YouTuber, and I am very excited that she's got a book out. So Pandora Sykes, How Do We Know We're Doing It Right? A collection of essays. I'm keeping it. I'm not going to read it this year. The Class Ceiling, Why It Pays to Be Privileged. Again, interesting. Haven't read it yet. Pragya Agarwal, Motherhood. This is another one I bought when I was at Prima Donna last year, I think. Okay. Accommodating Broccoli in the Cemetery, or Why Can't Anybody Spell? This is like a gift from my mum at Christmas, I think, but I'm not going to read it, so I'm going to unhaul it. Eat Shoots and Leaves. This is a cool book. However, I'm going to unhaul it because I just get all that information off the internet. Speeches and Toast, Unhaul. Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything. You know what? I don't think I'm ever going to read this. Unhaul. Overheard at Waitrose. This is a fun little book. I think I might put it in my fun little short books to read this year. I think Therefore I Am. All the philosophy you need to know. Unhaul. Simone de Beauvoir, Extracts from the Second Sex. I will keep that. Then we've got Greta Thunberg's No One is Too Small to Make a Difference. That's another little novella. These, I could maybe put them in my little novella pile. Actually, I'm going to take that one back off. Okay, these are, we'll keep them all, but I'm not going to read them all this year. So, Angela Y. Davies' Women, Race and Class. I'm keeping this book, but I've actually got two of them. So this one I'm unhauling, and the other one I'm keeping. Destiny Disrupted, A History of the World Through Islamic Eyes. I do think this would be really interesting, so I'm going to keep it. And then these are the few. I joined the Left Book Club, and I only got it for 3 months, but then I decided I probably wasn't going to keep doing it. So I got Women, Race and Class, Dispatches from the Diaspora, and Marxism and Politics. So we'll keep these three because I might read them. And then we're on the final pile. This has taken so long. And then we still need to talk about what's ended up in my 2025 and if I've actually ended up with 2025 because I haven't been counting. Stupid. Okay, John le Carré, Call for the Dead. I'm keeping that. Harlan Coben. I've got a lot of Harlan Coben ones. I bought them because I got obsessed with his mini-series on Netflix, but I don't think I'm ever going to read the books. Do you? And I got them from charity shops. I think, you know what, I'm going to unhaul them. The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors, I keep that. The Hunting Party, I've heard that's good, but I'm going to unhaul it because it's just not really my style. I don't really read thrillers. Do you think I should keep one? I don't know. The Live Wire. 6 years. I told you I've got a lot of Harlan Coben. The Mountain in the Sea. I've heard this is good, so I will keep that. John Updike, The Terrorist. Harlan Coben, Long Lost. And then Margaret Atwood, Oryx and Crake. So I've basically unhauled a lot of crime, thriller. Right, I'm going to put these all back and then I'll come back to you to discuss what I've unhauled and what my 2025 ones are. Oh, hello, I'm back and the books are away. So, I'm unhauling 17 books and here are the books that are on my 2025 list. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So I've got one too many. Which one should we put back? Northwards. It's going back on the shelf. So that's it. We've unhauled 17 books. So my TBR's gone from 138 to 121. And we've also picked my 25 and 25. And this is my last video for you guys until the new year, because next Wednesday, which is my normal upload day, is Christmas Day. And I don't think you're going to be watching this on Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, enjoy the festive period, and I'll see you next year. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and tell me the sort of things you'd like to see. Peace out!